friends, I hope you're having an inspiring day. So today we are switching up videos and we are doing a little bit of a review on my most recent purchase. I want to preface this video by saying that for me, luxury purchases always have meant something. All of my designer purses, if you have seen any of my other videos, all have like a special meaning to them. For me, I just really wanted to share this journey and also to share a review because I didn't see a lot of reviews on this bag before when I was trying to make this purchase myself. That being said, I am so excited to share this purchase with you. I have segmented the video into a couple of different areas and put them in the navigation below in case you are looking for a very specific part of information, whether it's Hermès shopping experience, the bag review on itself, or the unboxing. So I'll make sure to leave all of the navigation below. All of my bags kind of have a little bit of a representation or meaning in my life to mark a milestone. And for this one, it's specifically a milestone that I feel like we hit as a community on Instagram and TikTok. Recently, we hit 100K on both TikTok and Instagram, and I really wanted something to mark this career milestone for myself and kind of to commemorate the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. And I feel like this bag really does represent that in how understated it is, and it kind of reminds me to be humble and to really let your work shine. Anyhow, we can get into the metaphors real deep, so I will leave that alone, but that is what this bag represents. All right, let's start with Hermès as a brand. Now, I haven't really done any Hermès unboxings or a lot of purchases at Hermès in general, but Hermès as a brand, I feel like, is very polarized. There are people who love the brand because of its history, its heritage, its craftsmanship. There's so many different little things about Hermès that is really, really special. And then there's the other side that I've had such horrible experiences, and I definitely see the value on both ends. I love the history of Hermès. Any brand name, designer brand name. I'm big on stories, so for me it's less about what it looks like and how trendy it is, and more so what the house, the maison, the history of the maison is. And I love reading into that because I feel like that's what you're purchasing. You're really purchasing a piece of that history. Now, Hermès is one of the oldest brands. They are French. And one of the things that I really love that I kind of recently discovered about Hermès is that all of their bags and most of their things in general are still made by a singular artisan. So it's not like an assembly line where multiple people, like somebody does the strap, somebody does the zipper, then somebody does this. It is made by hand by an artisan from start to finish. And they have been huge sticklers about not outsourcing and really staying true to the craft, even if it means that there's going to be less supply. Now, that brings me to the other side of Hermès as a brand, which is that they are very oftentimes hard to get. The purchasing process will vary from store to store. Now, something to note about Hermès is that every store is kind of their own business, except for the head office in Freiburg, which is the location specifically in Paris. So other than that, every country, every region, every store is kind of their own little business and they operate in their own little way. Not only that, but their sales associates are also kind of like their own little businesses that operate in their own little ways. And it's really hard to navigate if you're looking to find a bag. And for those of you who don't know Hermès, bags are hard to find. You can't exactly just walk into an Hermès and get the bag that you want. You might be able to, but it's really not guaranteed. And it's because there aren't a lot of bags on the market. Hermès has a really strong hold on the amount of bags that they put out into the world. Now, judge that as you will. For me, I didn't really love that aspect of it. To be honest, I feel like a lot of that leads to elitism when it comes to Hermès and the sales associates, but that's really on the people who work there and less on the brand itself. Now, I personally still love the brand and I love the bags that they create. And now that I've kind of evolved in my style and I'm kind of like growing up in my style, I really appreciate how understated Hermès bags are and how timeless they are. And I think that when you look at the resale market, it's really apparent that Hermès has value because their resale value is often higher than the actual retail price. And the reason for that is because the brand is so elusive. They really have a control on their supply. They don't flood the market, and they're also very timeless designs. So they're not always coming out with new things. It's typically the classics that, you know, are meant to be that bag that you have forever. Let's talk about the shopping experience next. I personally have such a wonderful sales associate at Hermès Toronto. Hermès stores in general in Canada are really few and far between, and the supply really does represent that. But she has been so lovely and shared, you know, the transparency behind the bags, the brand, and the difficulty, the real reason why it's so difficult to get bags. She actually found this bag on the whim, and now that's another thing. When you're looking for a bag at Hermès, I would suggest finding a sales associate, telling them what you want, especially if it's not there at the time. Tell them that, you know, you're willing to wait. There isn't really a wait list. There really is, there's a kind of a wait list when it comes to each sales associate, but at the end of the day, it's kind of at their discretion. So really, it's kind of like playing the lottery, saying like, hey, listen, I'm interested in this bag whenever it comes in, and they'll let you know when it comes in. So that's what happened with this bag, the Bolide 27. Other than that, I had a wonderful shopping experience. Christina is her name, the person I work with at Hermès Toronto. She's just so lovely. So that was my shopping experience. Highly recommend reaching out to a sales associate, sharing your interests, your love for the brand, which pieces that they are that you're really looking for, and just being ready to purchase when it becomes available. Dun 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 dun! Here is, so I haven't actually opened this since I left the store, so we are doing this together. So inside we've got some tissue paper, as well as the beautiful box. Now they just came out with their new like magazine and things like that, so we've got like a magazine in here. She also put in like a little perfume sample of their new H24 fragrance. I believe this won't always be the case. I think it just happened to be at this time. There's also this other stuff here that's like the history of a certain of their prints and stuff like that. I don't know if this always comes with the bags. Again, like I said, this is really one of my first bags ever, so I'm not really sure. And then we've got the receipt, which comes in like a little envelope, very similarly to any of the luxury brands, with the embossed Hermès logo there, and then obviously your receipt. Now, when it comes to buying and returning an Hermès bag, nothing is refundable. So once you make that purchase, it really is forever to the store. You can obviously exchange, but you can't return, so you'll get like a sort of credit, and that goes with most of the designer houses. I'm pretty sure it's to maintain the quality, and just to avoid any people like buying and returning, or buying and shooting and returning and things like that, which I know is kind of a thing in the luxury market. I will say that this was a very difficult purchase for me. Hermès bags are really quite expensive, and so I did have to take a deep breath, but it was something that I've wanted for a really long time and also saved towards. It was still hard for sure, but I'm happy that it's here, and now I really don't get to regret my decision. You just really need to go with it. That's where we are right now. Anyhow, so it is tied up with a ribbon, which we are gonna undo now. What's really cute is that Hermès actually put the year on their ribbons this year. I don't know if you can see that, but it actually has the year 2021 on the ribbon now, which they didn't used to do, but I think that's a really nice commemoration. In terms of the box, I love my Hermès boxes. I find that they are done so well. Unlike the LV boxes that kind of flatten down, this really is like a storage box, and it is so beautiful. I'm shocked that the box itself isn't leather, although that would probably cost quite a bit. But it definitely does feel like that. It's got the Hermès logo in the center there. And then on the side, you'll actually see the code of your bag, which is kind of nice if you want to store your bag and kind of put it back in the box, and then have this part facing out so that you know which bag is inside. Not that I am at a point where I own multiple Hermès bags, but voila. If you do, that is a great plus. And we are moving along. So inside of the box here, you've got a little bit of tissue paper. It's very beautifully wrapped. I typically like to keep it that way, just so that if I store my bag, I can store it in its happy place. So inside is your bag. So the bag is inside of a dust bag. Inside of the box itself is a few components. So you've actually got a cushion pillow. That's what it's called. It's really just tissue paper, but it's to cushion your bag, and it's molded specifically to the shape of the bag that you're getting. The other two things that are in here that I thought were really interesting is a little booklet about leather at Hermès, which is obviously one of their biggest pillars, if not the biggest pillars. They are known for their leather, not their monogram, nothing like crazy, not their hardware. It's specifically their leather, and that's kind of what they hold true to. And then the other thing that's inside is actually a rain protector, which I have never seen before. I've heard of, but have never seen. And so we're gonna kind of look at it together because I have no idea what this is. Okay, I see. Oh, I see. Okay. So it actually is a rain protector for your bag. So you actually, I guess, slip this over top of your bag to protect the leather. Now, will I carry this in my bag? I know I probably should. I have never thought about carrying for my bag in the rain. I normally just throw it underneath my coat, but here we are, and this is probably the most expensive bag I now own, and so maybe we will use this rain cover after all. And that's it for inside the bag. Now let's get to the meat of it all, which is the bag itself. So this is the dust bag that the bag comes in. It's a beautiful dust bag, one of the best, I think, on the market, but for good reason. I mean, you're spending quite a bit of money. And then inside, dun, 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 is your bag. So this is my new bag. It is the Bolide 27. Now let's get into this bag a little bit more. Now this bag is not for everybody. In fact, most of my friends don't like this bag, mostly because they think it's really boring. And to be honest, yes, it does look like a lot of bags on the market from Kate Spade or from Roots that are at a significantly lower price. Now, why is this bag kind of special to me? And that's another thing that I really want to put forth, is that when you pick up anything that is a little bit of a splurge or is a luxury item, it is for you. You shouldn't be buying it because it's trendy or it's hot or all your friends have it or all your friends want it. It really should be something that you feel connected to. And this bag, when I heard the story behind this bag, I felt so connected to it. Let's move into the history of this bag. And now that's something that, like I said, I really love about Hermès bags, but bags in general. And the Bolide has such a beautiful history. So the Bolide bag was actually one of Hermès's first handbags ever created, ever launched in store. So Émile Maurice Hermès, which was the son of the original Hermès founder, I believe, he went to the United States of America. He actually went to go visit Henry Ford in 1923 to check out the first automobile. He actually noticed the zipper on the Ford cars that were being used as like the hood roof thing, and he actually took the invention of the zipper back home to Paris and introduced it to handbags for arguably one of the very first times ever seen on handbags, and that is kind of where Hermès gets the shape of the Bolide bag. The word Bolide in French is actually comet, and it was really inspired by the car. Bolide was also the name of like the bag for auto, like the bag for cars. So it really does have such a rich and deep old history as a part of it. Émile actually created it as a bag for his wife, which I also think is such a beautiful sentiment. The Bolide shape actually comes in a bunch of different sizes. There are, I believe, 6 total sizes. This is the second to smallest one. The smallest Bolide bag is actually the mini. Bolide, super rare. It is a 20 centimeter, I believe. This is the next size up, which is the Bolide 27. So it's 27 centimeters across, which is why it's called the Bolide 27. It is unfortunately super hard to find as well. The size that you'll find most of the time is the 31, which is the most popular. Definitely would fit a lot more than the 27 would, but I typically like to carry smaller bags. So voila, here we are with the Bolide 27. Let's get into the review of the Bolide bag. Now, this bag, as I mentioned, is not for everybody. It is a very basic bag, but it's meant to be basic and classic and kind of an original. The pioneer of this this sort of shape, which is now recreated by so many different designs and designers. So the bag has two sides to it, and when I say that, I mean really the only difference is this little emblem on the one side of the bag, and on the other side of the bag there isn't an emblem. So I really like that because you can kind of wear it both ways. This side's a little bit more discreet. On this side here, the emblem is actually inspired by that auto boom industry that was in 1923 and has been here ever since. So this design really hasn't changed very much. It's got two handles, two top handles here, and the stitching across the middle of the bag, which is apparent on all Bolide bags except for the mini, I believe. Now it's got that zipper, the iconic zipper that is what makes the Bolide so special. And inside here is just one gigantic general compartment. Inside, you've actually got a little dust bag. In the dust bag is the strap of the bag. I really love that Hermès does this. It really feels like you're picking up something luxury, which you are. So, I mean, very granted. The strap is a fixed length strap here with these sort of little clasps that look a lot different than my typical strap hooks. It's a little bit more heavy duty, which is again a beautiful little touch of the bag. On the inside of the strap here, it's got the Hermès Paris made in France emblem on it. So every single bag from Hermès is made in France. That is something that they have held true to and have not changed, even though the other design houses have. This bag doesn't have really any markings of Hermès on it, so it is one of the most understated bags on the market. That might be your style, or maybe it's not. Some people, when they buy luxury, they really want it to scream luxury. For Hermès, for me, it really is about that understated quality, not loud sort of vibe. And again, for me, it's about purchasing the history of the bag. The inside of the bag is actually this soft, supple leather, which is a little bit worrisome for me because, to be honest with you, I am quite the clumsy Nancy. You've also got this little stuffing in the bag so that you can stuff and hold your bag to shape afterwards. And in terms of compartments inside of the bag, you really only have this one singular envelope on the inside of the bag, and then you've got the Hermès marking there on the inside, top inside of the bag, that again just says Hermès Paris made in France, and that is really all that's inside of the bag. Other than that, it's just one gigantic compartment. I think what I might actually do is keep a little bit of a dust bag. This will probably be too big, but a dust bag inside of the bag, just to kind of maintain the inside quality of the bag. I have heard that there are some inserts that you can buy, so I may do that for this bag just to maintain the quality. If you guys have seen resales of Hermès bags, they are quite up and above the retail price of the bag. So this Hermès Bolide 27 in Epsom leather in black cost $6,800 Canadian. It's going to change dependent on your country, as well as the leather and sometimes the color of the bag. So the strap is a fixed strap on the Bolide bag, and so you can't adjust the length of the strap. It, like most Hermès bags, does not have an adjustable strap to it. The Evelyns do, but most of their other bags do not. So it is a fixed length. Now this length is quite short. It would be more of a shoulder strap. Cross body here, it kind of sits very high on your body. I'm about 5'6", 5'7", and it hits just where my hip is. Now I don't mind a really high up crossbody bag, but if you're looking for a longer crossbody, you would definitely have to use a different strap. The only thing that I will say that I noticed with some other Hermès Bolide reviews is that because the D-rings where you kind of connect the straps are on the inside of the handle, you do notice that the bag has a little bit of an indentation where the D-ring is, where these straps kind of hit, but that's just gonna come from natural wear on the bag itself. The other thing is that I really like that they've got little metal feet at the bottom here. It kind of protects the leather a little bit more, so you've got 5 little feet at the bottom of your bag. And that is really it when it comes to the Bolide 27. Other than that, there are little markings on the zippers that say Hermès, but other than that, one really wouldn't know where this bag is from, and I kind of like that. You might have seen some of my LV bags. I have quite an extensive LV monogram collection that started with my mom and kind of carried on to me. And I love LV and I love their monogram print and I love the history of travel behind LV, but with Hermès here, they are such an understated brand. Really isn't for everybody, but I love its history and I love how subtle it is and how you really wouldn't know it is Hermès unless you know. And that is it for my little Bolide Hermès review. This video is definitely a longer one. I just really wanted to go into detail. I had so many questions when I was picking up an Hermès bag about the process, the history, all that jazz, the pros and the cons. Comment below, let me know your thoughts on Hermès as a brand. You know, I won't be offended. I think, again, every person has a different sentiment when it comes to bags and their purchases and their splurges. So I respect my purchases and my choices, and I respect your thoughts as well. But this is an open dialogue, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you have any questions about the Bolide, I am happy to answer. And if you're new to the Inspired family, thank you so much for giving this video a watch. We hope you'll join us for a bit longer and subscribe. OG Inspired fam, thank you guys so much for being such a big meaning behind this bag for me personally, and for being a part of my life and journey. Without getting too sappy, I appreciate you guys so much. But with that, friends, I hope you have an inspiring rest of your day. Remember that your decisions are yours, your purchase, your splurges, your self-care, all of that is yours and yours alone. But with that, remember that kindness doesn't cost a thing, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!